It was supposed to be a peaceful start to the new season. A reunion, a reflection, a fresh beginning. But the moment Christine walked into that courtroom, holding a sealed envelope, everything changed. What she revealed wasn't just a contract. It was a final deal. A deal Kody never thought would surface. A deal that had Robyn's signature, and a clause that could legally dismantle everything Kody built. "This isn't just drama for TV," Christine whispered. "This is the real ending you never saw coming. If you thought the secrets were done, you've got no idea what Christine just unleashed. What would you do if your past came back, with a signature you hoped no one would ever find?" Leave a comment if you think Kody finally deserves what's coming, or if this final twist shocked you too. Now, the courthouse wasn't packed like usual. No screaming fans outside. No camera crews flooding the sidewalks. Just a gray sky over Flagstaff, and the sound of Christine's heels striking the pavement. She didn't come to play nice. She didn't come to stir the pot. She came with a purpose. One paper, one deal, one final strike. Inside the courtroom, Kody sat stiffly beside Robyn, his hands clenched, jaw tight. He hadn't looked at Christine in months. Not since she moved out of their shared family property and cut ties for good. Not since she stopped answering his calls. And now she was back, but not to talk. She was here to finish it. Christine stepped up to the judge's desk and handed him a single manila envelope. This document was signed by Kody Brown and Robyn Brown in 2014, she said calmly. "It's a private agreement regarding property ownership and trust fund oversight. I was listed as a silent partner." Kody's head jerked up. "What?" he barked. The judge raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Robyn's eyes widened, and she whispered something in Kody's ear, but Christine wasn't finished. "I waited 9 years to bring this forward, because I knew one day he'd forget I existed in the deal." She waited nearly a decade to strike, and she chose the day Kody thought he was safe. Mary leaned forward in the gallery. Janelle slowly took off her reading glasses. They hadn't been told Christine had anything else to offer. They thought this was just about division of assets. But Christine had other plans. The judge sliced the envelope open, pulled out a single-page contract, yellowed, original, signed. 3 names on the bottom. Kody D. Brown, Robyn S. Brown, Christine R. Brown. He read in silence for a moment. This document overrides the 2017 restructuring. The judge said finally. "Which means," he paused. Christine nodded gently. "Which means the Coyote Pass property, all of it, was never legally removed from my name." Robyn's hand slapped over her mouth. Kody slammed both fists on the table. "You're lying," he roared. "That's fake. That's not real. We destroyed that contract." Christine smiled without blinking. "You destroyed your copy. I kept mine. What if the very contract you buried was never buried at all?" The courtroom fell dead silent. Not even the bailiff moved. Christine turned to face the gallery, and for a brief moment, her eyes locked on Janelle's. No words passed between them, but something in Janelle's face cracked. Relief, shock, maybe even admiration. The judge lifted the page again. According to this clause here, Christine Brown was entitled to a 33% stake in any property purchased by the Brown Family Trust, including Arizona land, assets held in escrow, and secondary structures acquired between 2014 and 2017. Robyn stood up. "That's not fair," she screamed. "You weren't even part of the meetings when we bought those plots." "I didn't need to be," Christine replied, cool as ever. "I was already written into the deal." Kody turned red. "I told you to burn that contract," he hissed at Robyn under his breath. Christine caught it. "Oh, you did tell her to burn it. I remember. I was in the kitchen." She looked to the judge. "Your Honor, I also have a second page. The amendment." Gasps echoed through the courtroom. The judge motioned for it. Christine reached into her bag and handed him a second folded page. Cleaner, newer, but dated and notarized. Signed again. This time, only 2 names. Christine R. Brown, Kody D. Brown, no Robyn. The judge frowned. This was signed during the legal separation phase in 2019. Yes, Christine said softly. He offered me this deal quietly. In exchange for my silence. I took it, but I never filed it. Robyn looked like she was going to faint. Janelle turned her head and stared straight at the exit door, her face unreadable. This wasn't just about money. This was about being erased. And Christine planned her return to prove she never left. Christine's voice lowered, as she looked straight at Kody. You tried to buy me out. You thought I'd go quietly. But you forgot something. She walked toward the bench slowly. My silence wasn't loyalty. It was strategy. The judge held both documents in hand. This changes everything, he said flatly. Robyn's knees buckled, and Kody caught her by the arm. Christine stepped back, her face calm. Janelle leaned forward again. What's your next move? She whispered under her breath. Christine didn't answer, but her eyes told the whole story. Because what she was about to do next would pull Mary into it. Robyn sat frozen, tears streaming silently down her face. The judge held the documents like they were fire. And maybe they were. For the first time since this trial began, Kody wasn't barking orders or trying to dominate the room. He was shrinking. Christine had just turned their entire defense upside down, and she wasn't done. Your Honor, Christine said carefully, I'd like to enter one more piece of evidence. It's related to the 2012 Family Trust revision, the one Mary was forced to sign. Mary's eyes shot up. What? She whispered, more to herself than anyone else. Kody spun around in his seat. Christine, don't. Christine ignored him and walked to the clerk. From her bag she produced a small cream-colored envelope, the same color Mary used for her wedding invitations years ago. Inside was a folded piece of paper, worn, but not damaged. The judge read it, eyebrows lifting in surprise. This appears to be a handwritten note. It's Mary's, Christine confirmed. She wrote it after Kody and Robyn forced her to amend the trust documents. It was never meant to be public, but she gave me a copy, just in case. The room held its breath. Sometimes the deepest betrayals come from the signatures we were never meant to give. The judge turned to Mary. Miss Brown, do you recognize this? Mary stared at the letter, her face pale. Slowly she nodded. I didn't think Christine kept it. Do you contest its validity? Mary swallowed. No, I wrote that. After they pressured me. Robyn stood abruptly. That's not true. We didn't force anyone. But the judge raised his hand. Miss Brown, sit down. Kody tried to stand too. Don't talk to her like that, he snapped. Christine turned slowly toward him. Kody, she said with deliberate calm. Don't. And for the first time he listened. The judge resumed. This letter describes a moment when Miss Mary Brown was told her portion of the trust would be reduced from 25% to 5%, due to her emotional absence. Is that accurate? Mary closed her eyes, nodding once. Janelle whispered something under her breath, too quiet to hear. Her eyes never left Robyn. Christine stepped back. I bring this forward not to harm Mary, but to show that this entire foundation, the trust, the deals, the LLC, was built on manipulation and coercion. It's not just about money, it's about erasure. It was never about fairness. It was always about silence. The judge looked down, thoughtful. Miss Brown, he said to Mary, would you be willing to testify on this matter? Mary hesitated. The courtroom stared. Even the reporters in the back stopped typing. Then slowly, she stood. I will. Robyn gasped. You don't mean that. You can't. But Mary wasn't looking at her. I'm tired, she said, voice steady. I've kept quiet for so long, hoping things would work themselves out. But Christine's right. We were all manipulated. Christine's eyes softened. The judge gave a short nod. Then we'll allow testimony from Miss Mary Brown tomorrow morning. He banged the gavel. Session adjourned for today. But the real storm hadn't even begun. Because what happened after the courtroom cleared changed everything. Outside, as the cold wind swept through the parking lot, Robyn stormed toward Christine. You vindictive, she hissed. But Christine didn't flinch. "Don't say it," she warned. Janelle stepped in between them. "Back off, Robyn." But Robyn didn't stop. "You ruined everything. Why now? Why bring that letter? We had an agreement." "No," Christine snapped. "You and Kody had a manipulation, not an agreement. The deal wasn't just paper. It was power. And Christine just took it back." Robyn's face twisted in fury. You think Mary will back you? You think she'll destroy everything just to make you look good on camera?" Christine leaned in. "She's not doing it for me. She's doing it for herself. Something you've never understood." Kody approached from behind. "You're sick, Christine. You held this in for years, just to humiliate us in court." Christine's voice was icy. "No, Kody. I held it because I believed you'd one day do the right thing. But you didn't." Janelle added. "You doubled down. You erased people. You stole names off documents, and funneled money into accounts that weren't even in Robyn's name." Kody's face turned dark. "You don't know anything about our finances." "Oh," Janelle said, raising an eyebrow. "We'll see about that in session 4. Christine nodded once. "You wanted war, Kody. Now you've got one." The sound of a car horn broke the tension.
Oh!
Reporters were swarming toward them. The sisters scattered, disappearing into separate SUVs. But back inside the courthouse, one person remained. Mary, still sitting in the courtroom, alone, staring at her own handwriting in the letter Christine had kept safe for 9 years. What if the only way to get justice is to expose your own regrets? She folded the letter again, tucked it into her purse, then stood and walked toward the doors. But just as she reached the exit, the clerk called after her. "There's one more envelope here. It's addressed to you." Mary paused. "From who?" The clerk shrugged. "No return name. Just says, for Mary. Open before tomorrow." Hands shaking, Mary tore it open. Inside was a black and white photocopy of another trust document, one she'd never seen before. Dated 2021. Signed by Kody and Robyn. It removed Mary entirely. No stake, no inheritance, no explanation. And it was notarized. Mary's heart dropped. Her name had been erased. For real. Christine's words echoed in her head. "You were erased long ago, Mary. You just didn't know it yet." The courtroom lights flickered to life the next morning, casting long pale shadows across the wooden benches. The judge took his seat, stone-faced. Christine sat still and composed, her hands folded neatly in her lap. Janelle was already scribbling notes. Kody looked exhausted. Robyn was wearing sunglasses. Indoor. But everyone was waiting for one thing. Mary. She walked in slowly, envelope clutched in hand, the one she received the night before. She hadn't slept. Her skin looked pale, lips trembling just slightly. When the judge called her name, she didn't flinch. "Miss Mary Brown, please take the stand." She did, without even glancing at Kody or Robyn. Christine gave her a soft nod. Janelle blinked, slowly. No one else moved. The judge adjusted his glasses. "You understand why you're here." This contains a private video recording from 2021, a conversation between Kody Robyn and their financial advisor. Kody stood, "You don't have the right." The judge cut him off. "Sit down, Mr. Brown." Christine held up the USB. "You'll hear them talking about shifting all major holdings to a new LLC, one that lists only 2 members." The judge frowned. "Who?" Christine stared straight at Robyn. "Robyn and her oldest son." Robyn turned ghost white. "That's not true," she whispered. Janelle nodded. "I cross-referenced the LLC name with property deeds. The Arizona house, Coyote Pass, even the rental in Utah. They're all under that company now." The judge signaled for the bailiff to retrieve the USB. Robyn stood, trembling. "No, that was never meant to happen. That was Kody's idea. You signed it," Christine said coldly. "I didn't understand it," Robyn begged. "It's not just betrayal, it's paper trails. And now those trails are exposed." The courtroom shifted into chaos. The judge pounded the gavel. "Order! Order!" Robyn was crying. Kody looked stunned. like he'd finally realized how deep this hole had gotten. Christine turned to the judge. "You can review the video, but the intent is clear. They transferred the assets under a different name to prevent us, Mary, Janelle, and I, from having any claim." Janelle added, "And if they hadn't done that, we would have walked away." Quietly, the judge took a deep breath. "This changes everything. I will recess for 1 hour to review this material in chambers." He slammed the gavel down again. "Recess," Robyn broke. Her sobbing echoed across the room as she collapsed into her chair. Christine watched silently. Janelle walked over to Mary and offered her a hand. Mary took it. Kody stood alone, eyes scanning the walls like a man who just lost the map. When the truth finally rises, it doesn't ask for permission. It burns through every lie in its path. Outside the courthouse, the media had caught wind of the video. Reporters shouted questions. Headlines exploded online. Secret LLC exposed. Christine's final move. Mary's testimony shocks court. Inside, Robyn was escorted to a private chamber. She was shaking. Mary sat down on a bench in the hallway. Christine beside her. "You okay?" Christine asked softly. Mary stared ahead. "I believed him," she whispered. "I believed her." Christine nodded. "So did I. I thought staying quiet was strength." "It wasn't," Christine said gently. "It was survival." A door creaked open. The judge had returned. He looked pale, grave, and as he stepped back into the courtroom, he carried a printed transcript in his hand. "There's a name on this LLC," he said slowly. "And it's not just Robyn and her son." He looked directly at Christine. "It's you." Christine's mouth dropped open. The courtroom was so quiet, the hum of the ceiling lights seemed deafening. Christine stood frozen, mouth slightly open, eyes locked on the judge. Her name, just spoken aloud, now echoed like thunder in her mind. Kody's smirk was slow, sharp, and full of venom. Robyn stopped crying. Even Janelle didn't know what to say. The judge lifted the transcript in his hand. "Christine Brown, your name appears on the Articles of Organization for the LLC that currently holds title to multiple properties." Christine shook her head in disbelief. "No, that's not possible." Mary whispered, "What is he talking about?" Janelle looked just as confused. That LLC was Robyn's, only Robyn's. The judge held up the documents for all to see. It was filed 2 years ago. KDR Family Holdings, LLC. 3 listed members: Robyn Sullivan Brown, Dayton J. Brown, and Christine Ruth Brown. Christine's knees buckled slightly. "No," she murmured. "That's not right. I never signed." The judge cut in. "We have digital signatures. They're time-stamped, logged, verified by the state." Robyn stared at Christine, now shaking again, but not from fear, from something else. Rage. "You knew," she hissed. "I didn't know anything," Christine shouted. Kody stood. "She's lying." Of course she knew. This was her idea from the beginning. Christine whipped toward him. "Are you insane? Why would I help you bury my own name? The greatest betrayals don't just come from enemies. They come from the people you thought you were fighting beside." The judge raised his hand. "Enough. Miss Brown." "Christine, do you deny being involved in the filing of this LLC?" Christine's voice cracked. "Yes, 100 times yes." He nodded. "Then I suggest you find a very good forensic analyst, because right now the evidence says otherwise." She turned to Janelle, eyes full of panic. "I swear to you, I don't know how this happened." "I believe you," Janelle said immediately. "But we need to prove it." Mary looked between them both, then slowly said, "Unless someone used her name." Christine froze. Robyn stood suddenly, knocking over her chair. "It wasn't me," she screamed. No one accused her. The judge recessed the room for 45 minutes to verify Christine's digital signature through the state's public database. In the back hallway, Christine sat down hard on a bench, staring at her hands. "They're trying to make me look like I was part of it," she whispered. "They forged my name." Mary sat beside her. "Not they," she said quietly. Janelle was pacing. "If they used your name, then that's identity fraud. That's criminal." Christine's head was spinning. I remember Kody asking me about some documents years ago, just general paperwork. I signed a few things back then. I didn't ask what they were. I trusted. She stopped. Her face crumpled. I trusted him. In the end, it wasn't just about the trust fund. It was about trusting the wrong person with your name. Back in the courtroom, the judge returned. We've received a verification from the Secretary of State's office, he announced. Christine braced herself. The judge continued. The digital signature on the LLC form is traceable, not to Miss Kody Brown's personal account. Christine exhaled, barely, but to an IP address registered to Kody Brown's business laptop. The room exploded. Mary gasped. Janelle's mouth dropped open. Christine buried her face in her hands. The judge raised his voice. Let the record reflect. Kody Brown's identity was used without authorization to falsely list her as a member of a private LLC, now under investigation for trust mismanagement and fraudulent asset transfer. Robyn stood again, tears back. I didn't know, she sobbed. I didn't know he did this. Janelle turned, ice in her voice. You were listed too. What did you think was happening? Robyn looked stunned. He told me it was just a tax move. Christine looked up, eyes red. You were okay cutting out Mary and me. You were okay lying on paper. But now that you might go down with him, you're scared. The judge raised a hand again. We are pausing the property dispute until the criminal investigation determines the intent and impact of these filings. For now, we are issuing a protective freeze on all Brown family trust properties and associated LLCs. Kody slammed his fists down. You can't do that. The judge's voice was steel. I just did. The second you fake someone's name, you don't just steal their money. You steal their right to exist. Kody looked trapped. Robyn was trembling. Christine finally stood, taller now. I'm not afraid of you anymore, she said, voice steady. And when this is over, you'll wish I'd stayed quiet. Outside the courtroom, media headlines were on fire. Kody Brown accused of forging Christine's name. Robyn denies knowledge of fraud. Sister wives' property scandal grows deeper. And then something unexpected happened. Christine's lawyer received a message. A whistleblower. Someone from inside the filing firm. Someone who knew. That night, in a dimly lit conference room, Christine, Janelle, and Mary gathered to listen. The whistleblower's voice trembled through the speaker. I was told to process an LLC with 3 members. When I asked about the third name, Kody Brown, the paralegal said, it's just for appearances. She's not really involved. Janelle asked, who gave that instruction? A pause. The order came from Kody Brown directly, but the request was logged under someone else. Christine leaned forward. Who? The voice cracked. Robyn Brown. Silence. Janelle blinked. Mary whispered, what? Christine sat back, completely still, and slowly something changed in her face. Her pain twisted into something else. By morning, Christine wasn't just a witness. She was the catalyst of a legal firestorm. The whistleblower had confirmed it. The LLC paperwork was never supposed to involve Christine. Her name was added for appearance, for leverage, for plausible deniability. But the voice on the call had said something more. Something that hadn't been shared in open court yet. That the instruction, the one to add Christine's name, came from Robyn's personal assistant, logged in Robyn's private email, signed off with a single word, approved. Now Christine had that evidence in hand. A printed copy, a time-stamped email, a bold green check mark next to her stolen identity. She wasn't shaking anymore. She wasn't afraid. She was ready. Once you stop shaking, you start swinging. And Christine was ready to strike. Back in court, the energy had shifted. The judge's tone was tighter. The spectators leaned in a little closer. Even the media gallery seemed to hold its breath. Christine approached the bench calmly. Your Honor, I have new evidence. Direct from the whistleblower who came forward yesterday. The judge raised his eyebrows. Proceed. Christine handed over the printout. The court clerk scanned it into the record. This is an internal email from Robyn Brown's assistant, confirming approval of my forged inclusion in the LLC known as KDR Holdings. It is dated one day before the company was officially registered. The judge read the email, then looked up. Miss Robyn Brown, do you recognize this message? Robyn's eyes darted. Her face flushed. I didn't write that. I have people who handle those things. I didn't check every message. Did you instruct your assistant to approve Christine's name? Robyn blinked rapidly. No, I don't remember. The judge leaned forward. Let me be clear. If you directed someone to falsify legal documents, that is not an accident. That is a felony. Kody tried to stand. She didn't know what she was doing. This is all being blown out of. The judge slammed the gavel. Sit down. Robyn's hands trembled. I thought it was for tax purposes. She burst out. Kody said it would look better if Christine was listed. That it would protect us in court. Christine's voice cut through the noise. You used my name to erase me. When someone steals your signature, they're not just stealing ink. They're stealing identity, legacy and power. Robyn collapsed into her seat, sobbing. Kody was stone silent now. Mary and Janelle looked at each other. No words, just disbelief. Christine approached the judge again. I request your honor that Robyn Brown be formally investigated for conspiracy to commit fraud. The judge gave a single nod. So ordered. Gasps rippled through the gallery. Robyn looked like she might faint. But Christine wasn't done. There's one more thing, she said. Janelle's head snapped around. Christine, but it was too late. Christine pulled a small folded piece of paper from her coat. I found this in the original safe Kody left behind when he moved out of the Liye house. It was behind a drawer panel. I never turned it in. Until now. The judge waved her forward. The bailiff took the page. The judge's eyes scanned it slowly. This appears to be a handwritten will. Correct, Christine said. Written by Kody Brown in 2015, before he ever discussed the family trust update. It names all children from all wives, equally. The judge kept reading. But it also states that Robyn's children would receive an additional trust, separate from the others. Yes, and that this trust would be concealed from the others until the proper time. The judge held the sealed letter in trembling hands. He'd read hundreds of documents during his career. Court orders, witness statements, even deathbed confessions. But this one felt different because it wasn't written by a lawyer or a sister wife, or even Kody himself. It was written by Dayton, Robyn's eldest son. The quiet one, the one they never talked about in legal terms. But here he was, center stage, and his words would change everything. The judge looked up, expression unreadable. This is a personal confession, he said, written and signed by Dayton J. Brown. He cleared his throat and began to read. I, Dayton Brown, am writing this to clear my conscience. I have watched my mother Robyn and stepfather Kody manipulate documents and finances for years. I was asked to sign papers. I didn't understand. I was told to list my name on LLCs and trusts I never created. Robyn gasped. No, the judge continued. I was told it was